So on Jeff Career's radio program, I've called in over the last couple days now, talking about Jake Lang and making some of the points that I made on Monday's show about Jake Lang and how, he's not in a gulag, and giving all of the reasons that Jake Lang is not in a so-called gulag. Nobody in gulags are able to tweet from prison. Nobody from gulags are able to form a national militia, an armed militia. Now, apparently, Jeff Career, according to his show this morning, doesn't know that, Jake Lang has included Jeff in his national militia thing. Jeff Career, this morning on his show, claims that he is not part of it, and that he also warned Jake Lang to not do it, which to me kind of helps to prove my point that Jake Lang wants to form armed militias. That's what Jake Lang is, a violent-minded person. On Instagram, a video showed that someone asked him in their own Instagram video, what's next if this doesn't work? And he's like, guns. And now he's forming an armed militia. And Jeff knew about, whatever Jake Lang's little militia is called. Is it called, was it NAMBLA or Napalm or whatever it is? So there's that. But there's another thing that I thought about maybe about 5 minutes after I hung up with Jeff, or actually after he ended the phone call with me because he had to move on to other people, was the fact that he keeps asking, how would you feel if, all these things that were supposedly done to Jake Lang were done to you? And Jake Lang claims that all he was doing was trying to protect the lives of people who are being assaulted by police. So I had a thought in my mind. I'm going to pose it to y'all now. I'm probably going to pose it to him the next time I'm able to call into his show, which is this. Remember George Floyd? George Floyd was killed by Derek Chauvin. He was found guilty of the crime of murder. Chauvin pled guilty in 2021 to federal charges violating his civil rights after he was found guilty, sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison, convicted of unintentional second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. So he was found guilty of all of his charges. Now, conservatives will still argue that it wasn't the knee to the neck for 8.5 minutes or what have you that caused him to die, that it was somehow drugs in his system. I'm sure the knee on his neck for 8.5 minutes aided things. So they're trying to argue that all Jake Lang was trying to do was simply help protect people who were being trampled by the police, being attacked by the police, etc. Well, these people wouldn't have been, swung at or whatever. The police wouldn't have to use physical force against these people if they weren't charging the Capitol, if they weren't trying to bust through gates, doors, break windows, break doors, etc. Police wouldn't have had to do anything. You had to use any force had people actually followed the law, isn't that what the law and order people say? If you just follow the law, you wouldn't be in trouble, right? That's what they say. So what if I happen to be witnessing live when Derek Chauvin had his knee on the neck of George Floyd? Clearly George Floyd suffering. What if I walked up to Mr. Chauvin, pulled out his nightstick or whatever, and started attacking Derek Chauvin? And they arrested me and put me in jail and put me up on charges for trying to prevent a police officer from doing their duty and using deadly force or using an assault with a deadly weapon against a police officer. Would Jeff Career go on his radio show and say, well, Liberal Dan thought that he was just trying to save the life of George Floyd, and that's why he did. So that's why he shouldn't be in jail, because he was simply had the intent of just saving a life. Now, I don't believe for a second, personally, that Jake Lang was trying to save anybody's life with that. He might have been trying to use it as a convenient after thing. Maybe he helped pick somebody up. Maybe he helped defend somebody who was a fellow assaulter of police. Maybe that, but it's still not an excuse for what he did. Now, would Jeff Crair or any of his listeners then say, oh, Liberal Dan should be let free and be pardoned by Donald Trump or whoever is the head executive of whatever governmental body put those charges against him, because all Liberal Dan was trying to do is protect a life? Of course not. Why? Because the only time blue lives matter is when blue lives are attacking black lives. Otherwise, blue lives, they don't think that blue lives matter if blue lives are trying to stop white lives from committing acts of terrorism, insurrection, etc. I know for a fact that they would not say, oh, Liberal Dan was just trying to save a life. Nope. Wouldn't happen one bit. They would not do it, so I'm not falling for it here. I'm not believing it here one bit either. I'm not going to believe their excuse. Oh, he was just trying to save a life. Nope. He was trying to prevent government action. He was committing an act of violence against police officers. He was swinging a bat and a shield, according to the videos and the allegations and charges made against him. And now he's in the find out phase. And again, I hope that Donald Trump goes through all of the people who are under charges or whatever and says, you know, I'm not going to do Jake Lang because he assaulted a police officer. And I want to see the MAGA tears at that point. I want to see the insurrectionist tears at that point. I want to see them turn on Trump finally. I don't think it's going to happen because I think Donald Trump will do the blanket pardon. Because I don't think he cares. Unless he just does no pardons because he realizes these people aren't going to help him anymore. So therefore he doesn't have to do anything for them. And he's just going to keep saying that he's going to do pardons on day one until day one happens. And then he'll just go on with other things and do drill baby drill and all the other things he wants to do as dictator on day one. Anyway, what do you think? Agree? Disagree? Do you think Donald Trump will pardon everybody, including Jake Lang? Do you think Donald Trump will pick and choose who he pardons, thus pissing off some of his base? Do you think... what do you think about the pardons? What do you think he's going to do? Leave your comments down below. Remember to like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and have a good day.